We are about to give V a Sissybar, so this may be the last time we ever see her with her bag. So, in the past, I guess you could say I've had a lot of baggage.
Nobody's laughing.
But now, I'm still gonna have the same amount of baggage, but it's gonna be carried differently. So here is the Sissybar. I was extremely happy with it, and we're about to see how she looks on B. So first thing we're gonna do is empty the saddlebags. And since Dave started without me, I'm embarrassed and want to know what else was in here that
I'll put this back in.
What else of my stuff is in here? Also, what else
Three
is
gloves.
Well, this is a liner. Don't know where the other one is.
One for
zip
each
ties,
hand.
the greatest tool of all time. Your cyclist needs
Not a
one.
tool.
You're a tool. Alrighty, just a final show of what was in the saddlebags. Hopefully never have to use, but definitely always should have the Dyna plug. Got that at Cycle Gear. Got this lock also at Cycle Gear. This goes on the disc. Also have a puck in case I ever find myself in dirt or if the ground is soft. Multi-tool, tire pressure gauge, also purchased at Cycle Gear. Helmet lock, purchased at Harley Davidson along with the extra shirt. This is actually an extra. My shifter peg and my brake peg are all the same, so we tested the threading, and I got an extra one of these. Found them on JP Cycles, and so it's nice to have a spare just in case. These are my winter gloves, zip ties, brush and hairspray, my med kit, my Lita's hat, and a bandana.
It's easy to crush.
Hey, I found the other liner. Hey, and then the cargo and more zip ties. All right, we're all set. We're all ready. It's already started. Thanks, baby. Let's get this show on the road. All right, so as stated before, we took these guys off when we put the bags on, but now that we're taking the bags off, we went back and found the old bolts. So we tried to match them up, went to Cycle Gear, Canoga Park, and we got these two. One was the M8 by 20, and I wasn't sure if the 30s were gonna be too long or if the 20s were gonna be too short, but we're about to find out. Okay, what are we doing now?
So we've got the old bags off, obviously. We're gonna test the new bolts, kind of get a gauge to see how long they are with the spacers on them on the rear here. And when we took off the old bolts though, I noticed that there's a lot of gunk. There's old Loctite in the holes there, right? And when you're putting new bolts, especially hardened ones, into a hole, you need to be worried about a couple of things. First thing you need to be worried about, I talk about this all the time, is cross-threading. You really don't want to do that. I've actually cross-threaded this hole before and had to re-tap it with a tap and die kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an old bolt that we had, one of the old bolts that we had for the bags, and here's a trick that'll help you keep from cross-threading, and it'll also clean out the hole for you for the new bolts, and that is that you file a little notch at the beginning of your bolt. If you look close up, you can see a notch there, and that was put in there using a file. You just take a file on your bolt and you'll file it in there, boom, like that. So I'm just doing this, I'm running this bolt through. This is a bolt we already used. I'm just running it through to work gunk out of the threads in there.
Is that now unusable?
This bolt, no, this bolt's still usable. But here, see that? See all that shit in there? That's in the notch. So there was gunk inside of there, and it falls into there. I'm just gonna do that a couple of times. I'm just doing this to clean it out.
Okay, I am astounded. Look how easy, look how quick. And I couldn't even get 2 twists before he did that. So that really worked. Wow, what a difference. So how's it look?
Well, it's going, this bolt, so there's enough clearance in there to account for the width of the bracket, the mounting bracket. And I don't know if you can see it, but the bolt is passing all the way through.
Okay.
So you're getting as much bite as you're gonna get. That still isn't enough to hit the tire.
Sweet.
I guess the 30s were the right choice.
All right, so what are we doing now?
I was just checking to see how much clearance there is between these brackets and the fender, because that's a painted surface and it's got squared edges. So you gotta be very careful putting it on because you don't want to scratch your paint. So what I think we'll probably do is get like an old sheet, like an old bed sheet probably, and lay it over top of this. Put the Sissybar down over it and get it very close, and then we'll pull the bed sheet out.
Okay, what are we doing now? You're going to take a nap?
Yep.
Yep, you're gonna go to bed. All right, good night. That is gross. Please take a shower before you come into bed. So, we are taking this nice and clean bed sheet. Bee looks like a patient in a hospital. All right, Bee's going in for surgery. She's getting an artificial limb.
Let's see if my bright idea works here. Okay, keep going. All right.
Yay! In a genius move, we've discovered a way to prevent the cargo nets from sliding off by putting a spacer and a washer. Genius. This guy. Thanks, baby. All right, so the rubber washer fitting behind the bracket, putting the Loctite. Does it look like it's working? Name that movie. Wow.
Got it snug?
We are geniuses.
Well, okay.
Here we go. Here it is. Ultimate test.
Uh-oh.
Should I put you up for the Nobel Peace Prize or?
Priest?
Priest.
That's Steve Brule's friend.
Priest.
You dingus?
All right.
Let's get a Sissybar, you
It
dingus.
works. She looks so sexy.
Viking,
But thank you.
you're out. Combustion Industries,
You're in.
you're in.
And that's a wrap. Looking clean, looking fresh. Thank you, Combustion Industries, for this Sissybar. Thank you, Cycle Gear, for the bolt. Thank you, Dave, for the installation. Now it's time for this clean baby to take our first road trip to Arizona.